welcome to my podcast today. I'm well into it now. I haven't done one for quite a while, whole week I'd say, and I was just gonna put you go through the news with you there today, and just the latest news there was about Donald Trump. He defrauded the banks and insurers for years as he built his empire, says judge. Judge has ruled that Donald Trump committed fraud for years while building the real estate empire that catapulted him to fame and the White House. So that's the news on that then, and then the Irish news then on the Irish Independent website, which I'm going through there. Inspectors appointed to Peter McVerry's trust to probe allegations of financial irregularities. So that's on that, and more than 400,000 households get fuel allowance payments from this week. So people will be getting more money in their pockets there, fuel allowance. Children Minister Roderick O'Gorman warned that lack of children places will welcome major election issues coalitions. And then experts call for weight-based car tax as numbers and size of SUV explodes. So that's the news then on the Irish Independent, the Journal, the sports news. I was just going to make you a quick podcast today. The sport news then is modest surrounds in Hungary as a reminder of Ireland's once forlorn status. The ladies won there tonight as well for nothing. There, and that was the results there in that match. And then more about the rugby match, the left wing impressive Ireland blunders and why Eddie Jones needs more sleep. I don't know what that's about. Eddie Hearn, Katie Taylor Correa on the line in Dublin rematch with Chantel Cameron. That's coming up in November, that match as well. There's a lot of sporting events coming up, as I was saying there. And let's all laugh at Eddie Jones and Australia. But they need to get their act together for the Lions. That's what it says there on that. More about that after Eddie Jones. We don't know if we might see it again. South Africa flanker Gregor Smith on Bowes 7-1 bench split. That is old news, really. And that is the other sports news. And now I'll bring you to the RTE website. I see more about the New York court fines on Donald Trump. Overvalued net worth of up to 3.6 billion. That is a huge figure. Donald Trump and his family business were found liable for fraud in New York. Attorney General Latina James civil lawsuit accused the former US president of illegally inflating his assets and net worth. The decision was issued by Justice Arthur Engoron of the New York State Court in Manhattan today. So that was that. That was that news there. So that is the main news then on the RTE website. And then more about O'Sullivan orchestrated Ireland breeze past Hungary. That result was pretty convincing by the ladies, 4-0. And they're top of the league. They're gonna top that group. That's Albania in the next match. That's a one-way junction in my set. And then on the soccer results, there was League of Ireland matches on there tonight. The League of Ireland fixtures. I always go through that normally every week. Just the latest on the soccer. If I can get this up now, the Premier Division matches over the weekend. They're pretty convincing. Dundalk had a 5 on tonight's match or yesterday's matches Monday. 5-0 Cork City. St Patrick's Athletic 1-2. That United 1-2-1 and Bohemians 1, Shelbourne 1. So that they were the results then on that. On the table then, Shamrock Rovers right in front with 59 points. Derry City 54, St Patrick's Athletic 53, Shelbourne 50, and Bohemian Football Cup 49. So that table is pretty convincingly well 5 points in it. So it's nearly over anyway, that league. And then the first division, which is the one that Bray's in, the result was at Wexford 2, Longford Town nothing, and that was that score. And Go United 1, Finn Harps no nothing. So and then the table then it makes reading there. Go United have won it with 82 points. Waterford Football Club 64, Cove Ramblers 54, Wexford Football Club 48, and on fifth spot 46 at Downtown. So that's the league then on that. Then the the Gaelic results there over the weekend. Bray had a win over Glenneely. They won well in the end, 217 to 8 points, which I think that was the score. And then in the other match, Carnew won on a penalty shootout. They won Kiltegan. I was listening to that match on YouTube. It was very interesting, and it's Carnew and Bray in the final, and that's I think October the 15th. That'd be interesting enough if you were to go through all the sport and Gaelic games. That's the results then in that section. Ru- it did do well the way they ran it up in Wicklow. The results and all, and was well. I was at that match there the last day in the stand, and looking at all the thing. The weather was terrible for the matches, especially Sunday. It was terrible weather, and I'm not sure what it'd be like this weekend. I'm not sure now. The weather isn't meant to be great tomorrow, but and then I go through the Irish Times with news. It's not much different there, and that the latest news then on that. Manchester United cruised to EFL Cup win of Crystal Palace. That match was Wolves lose 3-2 to Ipswich Town, and that was that match there. That match then, I'll give you a bit of more information about it. It was held as Man United kicked off the League Cup defence with a 3-0 home win over Crystal Palace. Well, that was a good convincing win by them. And then Wolves went 2-0 up and then lost 3-2 at Championship second tier High Flyers Ipswich Town. So that was that score. And if you could write, Man United seemed to be doing well. And then more about Donald Trump found liable for fraud in the Irish Times, which is a pretty similar article than the other one. Just says small about Donald Trump and his family business were found liable for fraud on Tuesday by a New York judge. The decision was issued by Justice the same Judge James sued Trump in September 2000, accusing him and the Trump Organization of lying for a decade about asset values and his net worth to get bank terms on bank loans and insurance. So it makes good reading on that paper. That's the Irish Times then. And then more about the government ones on bed availability as thousands of extra refugees expected to arrive anytime soon. And Dennis O'Sullivan liked playing with Kevin De Bruyne as the Stars against Hungary. That's more about the match then. And then Ireland weather alert. Met Éireann warns of whole day weather event with arrival of Storm Agnes and the orange rain warning for Cork and Kerry with yellow warning for the other parts of the country on Wednesday. That's the latest update then on that. And Katie McCabe Rock helps Ireland to a dominant victory over Hungary. And that's on that. And then if I was to go through I went through the sports news on that, and then just more about the Sky News. Actually, I was gonna just have a look at the news on that. The UK news. It just says Met firearm officer planned mass downing of guns if Chris Cable murder suspect is identified. That story is the suspect is an officer known only on NX 121 after a district judge granted an intern order, but the order could be lifted at the hearing of the Old Bailey on the 4th of October, which would lead to the officer being named publicity. So that's on that. And then more about David Williams sues production company behind Britain's Got Talent. And UN criticizes Brave Man's speech, branding illegal migration a existent challenge. And Russell Brand says he is incredibly moved by supportive fans after sexual abuse allegations. There was a lot about that on the news there last week as well, Russell Brand. So that's on that. And then on the US news, there can be only about one person. More about Mr. Trump on the Sky News as well. Trump lied about his network for years, says court. And that's the same story as I was saying. And it seems to be on all the papers there, that story. Number of emergency workers to die from 9/11. Related illness reaches somber milestone. And JP Morgan reaches settlement with ex Barclay chief in Epstein case. That's on that. Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas agreed to temporarily keep children in New York, and that was on that. So then on the that's the main news then on that. On the Hogan stand, I'll just give you a bit of the Gaelic games. It just says, watch bizarre. There was an own goal, I think, in Kilkenny Senior Hurling Championship, which is unusual to see an own goal in their competition, Kilkenny. And Gaelic Games Association announced details of provincial female leadership program. That is, I'm not sure what that is. Talty, I say, is Talon is staying with Kingdom. He's the behind the scenes man. He seems to be working wonders. He's from down. And then Fitzgerald, the hero in Wicklow Senior Hurling. That was about the penalty shootout, actually, which I was talking about. A goalkeeper, Bob Fitzgerald, was the toast of Carnew. It dreaded conditions at Akron. That's the match now. And before saving three from Brendan Ryan, English born and Mark Murphy, to help the Emmets to a 3-1 shootout victory over Kiltegan after the sides had finished level on 14 points to 111 after extra time. And Portick Dorn and O'Connor scored the other penalties. And then the other match was Bray and Glenealy, which I was mentioned, Christy Morehouse and Owen McCormick were the Bray goal scorers in the 217 to 2-8 semi-final win over Glenealy. So it sets up a good championship match in October the 15th. I think it's being played. That's that match. So I just thought I'd make a quick podcast today. I'm well into it. This is episode 41. I'd just like to thank everyone for listening to me and supporting me in my podcast. It does cheer me up and it gives me. So I'd like to say goodbye and I'll be back with another one. So thanks very much for listening and goodbye for now.